I saw this tweet from Elijah Schaffer talking about success in the feminist utopia. It's a video of a woman on TikTok talking about how she's over 30, she's lonely, she's trying to focus on her mental health, but all her friends are getting married and having families, and she's missing out on this. And sure enough, it's a common thread that's been around basically forever. You know, so I've done a couple videos because these videos have popped up and gone viral from time to time of a woman crying on social media that she's over 30 and struggling to find love. And I'm just like, you know, look, talking about it once because there's an interesting idea in social media apps, dating, hookup culture and stuff is interesting. But then I see another clip from Elijah of the same thing. And so I'm just like, okay, are we gonna see this every single time? I mean, like anytime a woman comes out and says she's over 30 and struggling, it's a common trope. So much so, there's an article from EV Magazine of another woman talking about over 30 dating is awful. Over 30 dating in LA is awful, just over and over again. And then she tells the story about how, yes, she's over 30 and she's struggling to find anyone who wants to be with her. So I want to show you this video. I want to show you what this woman says, and we'll talk about this because we have an article actually writing up what it's like. But I just want to make sure you all understand this. Here is a video from a group called Garfunkel and Oates. And it's these two women. The song is called 2931. And it's about, it's a song sung from the perspective of a woman who is 29 and then from a woman who is 31. I'm not going to play the song for you because it's shrill and it probably would just hurt your ears. I'm not trying to be mean to them. That's part of the joke. So basically the woman who's 29 is like, the world is great and everyone loves me. I have all the opportunities in the world. And then it goes to the chorus and the woman who's 31's like, there's nobody left. I'm alone. My ovaries are shriveling up. And it's just like, these are women making this joke. They understood this before they reached their 30s. And here we are. So here's the video that Elijah Schaffer played. This is basically it. It's this woman playing this music and she's walking on a treadmill. So there's no real point in playing the video. It's just a woman with a bunch of makeup on, I guess, and it's sad. And she's exercising with makeup on or something. Okay, well, anyway. It says, I'm 33. I live alone. I'm single. All my friends have kids and husbands. I don't like drinking anymore. But I live in a city where it seems to be the only activity to do. My mental and physical health are my main priority right now. For the most part, I am happy, but sometimes I get lonely doing everything by myself. The reason why I want to talk about this is because looking at a person, and it is typically women because guys don't seem to care. I guess it's like a biological clock thing. What were you doing with your life to where you're at this point right now is the interesting question. And I also think there's something important to point out that men and women are different. And women they have a certain amount of time to have a family. Men kind of do, but sort of don't. Like dudes in their 70s can still have kids. So guys just don't really care about it the same way women do. And guys, they say, well, I'll just put it this way. Guys who get older can still attract younger women. So they're just like, as they get older, they have more opportunity with younger women. But here's my question. Because I'm a dude, right? And this is what I'm thinking about. When I was in my teens, 20s, I'm working a lot on various things, constantly trying to improve, progress, be better than I was the day before. I'm wondering what these women were doing. Was it the same? I mean that quite literally. Like, is that what women do in their 20s? And is that what's causing this problem for these women? Because it used to be like men would work jobs and women would focus on relationships and then they'd end up together. Women were subject-oriented, men were object-oriented. And so if there were a bunch of women who were trying to figure out which man they wanted to marry and a bunch of men were working jobs, then it was easy for the man to be like, this woman is pretty good. She wants to get married. The women did the work for the most part in the relationship. I'm not saying it's a good thing. And the men were the breadwinners. That's how it used to be. But if both men and women today are in their teens and 20s working on career, there is a major problem emerging for women that won't emerge for men. And that is, and don't get me wrong, it is a problem for men, but not as much. If men and women both enter the workforce and they're both doing the same thing, men are just like, look, honestly, by the time I'm 35 and I'm making a good salary and I own my own car, maybe buying my own house, if I'm still dating, I'll date a woman who's 28 or 29. I think, what did I just see? I just saw an article about Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, and now they're close to becoming billionaires. And Ryan Reynolds is 46 and Blake Lively is 35. So when Ryan Reynolds was 36, she was 25. And that's normal in society to a certain degree. I mean, some people might that age gap is pretty big, but older dudes dating younger women tends to be fairly normal. So if a woman spends all of her time in her late teens and early 20s working on career, it's going to be a lot harder for her once she hits 30, when a guy the same age is just going to go down. And we talk about it all the time. Right? And this is my point right here. Like, yo, if these lady comedians 10 years ago can make this video, like talking about what it's like to be a woman, how is it controversial, condescending, insulting, or sexist to point this stuff out? Take a look at this. This is from about a year ago. Woman's viral video on TikTok shows the real consequences of casual dating into your 30s. Thank you. This is like a feminist magazine telling women outright, like, dude, if this is what you do, it is going to get bad when you are in your 30s. Ladies, you got to find that guy. You got to lock him down. Get married. That's the point of marriage. So it says, let me introduce you to Camille. She's around 30, lives in LA, and she's in tears over the state of her love life. Why? Well, let her explain. All right, let's play this video. It's about a minute long.
I just had like the craziest, saddest thought. I'm in a stage of life where I'm watching all my friends get married and have babies and find love. And I had another talking phase yet again fall through. And my friend was like, you'll meet the one day, don't give up. But now I'm at a point where I hope I don't, because what happens if I meet him and he wants kids and I'm too old to not be able to give him any? So it's easier for me to say I don't want kids. Having like a weird existential crisis. I don't know why I'm posting this on TikTok, but I think I need to know I'm not alone.
Yep, she's not. Because there are a bunch of comments on these videos, and I think people point them out. Elijah Schaefer shows in response to the original video. No, let me pause real quick. To that woman who was crying, dude, I'm so sorry that you're going through that, because it's a bummer. She doesn't seem like a bad person, and I want to stress this is not about any personal politics or any individual. I want these women to find what makes them happy. I don't know that these women did anything wrong or deserve anything bad. For all you know, this lady's based AF. I don't know. Maybe she's just a nice, regular person who's working hard. But I do think it's fair to say that modern feminist culture results in a circumstance that puts these women in this position. And I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. That's up for the wind side. There's probably a lot of women who have careers who are in their 30s and they're super rich. Like, look at Chelsea Handler. She's what, 50 something? How old is she actually? Let me make sure I get her age right, because maybe she's not in her 50s. And then she'll get mad at me, right? She got mad at me already. She's 48. Okay, she's not quite 50. She's 48. And she talks about how she wakes up at 6 a.m., masturbates, and does drugs, and her life has never been better. Well, good for you, man. But what about this lady who's like, what if I meet Mr. Right and I can't give him kids because I'm too old? Yo, I appreciate this woman for coming out and making and sending this message, because I hope younger women see it and understand what may happen when they're 33 or whatever and experiencing something similar, or to prevent them from experiencing that. That is to say, men and women are different. Dudes might go out party and skateboard and play rock music because they can have kids when they're 50. But for women, it's different. And that's just unfortunate reality for those that would be upset about it, right? So if you're a woman and you got to figure it out in your 20s, because you got a lot of, not every single woman, I'm not saying, but you've got a lot of women like this who are like, I'm in my 30s and it's getting bad. Take a look at this. Some of the comments. In response to this woman on the treadmill saying she's lonely, one woman said, I'm 32 and all of it the same. You're not alone. One woman said, I'm 31 and feel the same. Can we be friends? Absolutely. 33, same boat. Same. I'm in the same boat. 35 and absolutely in the same boat. It's reassuring to feel like you're not the only one. There are a lot of single women, and they don't want to be, is the issue. That's the issue. To the women who want to be single and never want to have kids, like, that's cool, man. You do your thing. I think it's important, though, that when it comes to understanding the differences between men and women, we make sure we share these messages from these women who are like, hey, man, look, this is really hard. I'm having a rough go of it, and I'm sad. Because that's a message that younger women need to learn and understand. This hookup culture stuff is really bad, in my opinion, right? Look at this. Even this is EV magazine. Casual dating was falsely advertised. Casual dating was advertised as something that would empower women. We were told that we didn't need to settle down with a man. Instead, we should date for fun, embrace our sexuality, and have as much meaningless sex as we wanted. We can take birth control. So what is there to worry about? Few people ever considered the emotional toll that casual dating would have on women, but the consequences have been dire for not only the women who engage in hookup culture, but even those who don't. And I want to make sure we stress this too. Guys are absolutely going to end up in bad positions from this as well. So many dudes are like basement dwellers who've never grown up, failure to launch. This is not just about women. If guys have no responsibility and there's no social pressure to be a provider and to take care of a family, they're going to just sit around playing video games and just never have families. And then a lot of these guys are going to end up out of shape, bored, sad, lonely, just like these women. At least these women, they're in shape because that woman's on a treadmill. So that's one thing you can do. They're going to say, this is EV magazine, by the way. You want to think about hookup culture is that while it was supposed to make women equal with men, it ended up exacerbating the very inequalities it was supposed to fix. Men get everything they want and more. Now they can have sex with as many women as they want. They don't have to worry about getting women pregnant. They get to embrace their inner Peter Pan syndrome. Boom. Exactly. And they can put off responsibilities for as long as they want, perhaps indefinitely. Meanwhile, women are left feeling empty inside. This is a lose-lose for everybody. You get a bunch of loser Peter Pan dudes who go around banging a bunch of chicks, no responsibility, not a care in the world, playing video games in their one-bedroom apartments, and they're just like, what else could I want? It's just bad for everybody. It's the infantilizing of human civilization. Does Camille seem empowered to you? No, she seems heartbroken. Her TikTok is hard to watch because you feel for her. Maybe you, like many women nowadays, are struggling with exactly the same issues she is. If anything, casual dating has empowered men a lot more than it ever empowered women. Boom, mic drop. That's what I'm saying. The idea that you can have fun in your 20s and settle down in your 30s might sound like a good idea, but it turns out, as Camille points out, the men you date in your 30s are no better. The tainted dating pool. One of the unfair realities of life is that men can father children well into their older years while women simply can't. So casual dating in our 20s and 30s isn't as harmful to men as it is to women. Women typically don't have the luxury of waiting until 40 to settle down if they want to have kids. We're naturally on a much shorter childbearing timeline than men. Casual dating has worsened this timeline, inequality, and set women up for heartache later in life. Dude, it's sad. It's a sad reality. Even if you don't engage in casual dating, you're still harmed by it because it taints the entire dating pool. If you want to find real lasting love and settle down, there are fewer viable men for you to choose from because casual dating not only teaches men to expect sex right away, but also that they can live free of any responsibilities that come along with a relationship while still reaping all the benefits. Mic drop, ladies. When presented with the limitless sexual options that casual dating offers, the idea of choosing to settle down with just one woman is unappealing to many men. Evolutionary biologist Brett Weinstein calls this an evolutionary bargain. Casual sex presents men with too good of a deal to pass up, so why would they? How do you feel about, they ask, how do you feel about hookup culture? I think it's bad for women. Women get the short end of the casual dating stick. They say women and men process emotions very differently, especially when it comes to sex. We get attached much more easily than men do, which makes it very difficult for us to engage in casual sex without emotional consequences. It's not just me saying that's actually been proven by science. Women experience a big boost in oxytocin, the love hormone, during sex, which expedites the bonding process for us. The desire for emotional attachment is built into our very DNA. So while men can have casual sex and go on their merry way afterwards, most women find that very hard to do. One of the worst parts about casual dating is that it makes many women feel guilty about their very biology. Modern feminism teaches women that we're exactly the same as men, so we should be able to have all the casual sex we want and not feel a thing. Then when women try that strategy and it backfires, we're made to think there's something wrong with us. What a psychologically torturous notion. Camille mentioned something else in her TikTok that's important. She now feels the need to lie to herself and others about the fact that she wants kids. Man, that's true. She said, I'll just pretend I don't want kids. I often wonder if one of the reasons why fewer and fewer couples are getting married and having children nowadays is not because fewer people want children, but because it has become increasingly difficult to find real love in today's world. And for a woman, it's harder to find the right man while there's still enough time left on our biological clock to bring kids into the picture. Of course, there are many other socioeconomic factors that go into this statistic, but I believe our upside down dating culture is one of them. Women have also been conditioned to think that having children is a lesser goal than chasing a successful career, so they often put off having babies until it's too late. Many of these modern ideas that are meant to empower women end up having the exact opposite effect. Everybody should have kids. And I know people are going to be like, Tim, where are your kids? It's personal. But just know, I think people should have kids probably in their late 20s. And your career doesn't end. Tons of people I know have tons of kids, and they're ridiculously successful. In fact, like everybody's kids, some of the most successful people in the world. You take a look at some of the most successful commentators. Ben Shapiro's got a bunch of kids. Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh, they got a bunch of kids. They're huge. They're superstars. They have families. You don't want to talk about politics, talk about Casey Neistat. One of the most successful YouTubers in just ever. Cover in magazines. Basically invents vlogging. He didn't invent it, but he made it. He had a kid when he was a teenager. And he's got more kids. If anything, having a kid makes you fight harder to be better and to succeed for your kids. But there's so many men and women who are like, oh, I don't want to have kids just yet. And especially women, got to have career. Well, I feel bad for some of these women because modern feminist culture has created little boys who aren't going to be breadwinners. It's created a job market that pits men and women against each other. So the competition means maximum supply of labor force with lower demand. So men get paid less. And then how are you going to have kids if both people are working? It just ain't going to happen. Camille finishes her story by saying, I don't know why I'm posting this on TikTok, but I think I need to know I'm not alone. You're not alone, Camille. Many women feel the exact same way you do. They want the exact same things you do: love, meaning, family, happiness. These are not unreasonable desires in life, but casual dating and hookup culture undermine every single one of them. That's interesting. Evie Magazine. I don't know if it's like a feminist, like a women's magazine or whatever. I think it's a women's magazine. I thought this was like Vice or something, wasn't it? Am I wrong? Health, beauty, whatever. Evie Magazine. I don't know. I'm surprised to see this at all coming from a modern women's magazine, telling them the complete and absolute truth. Life ain't easy. Men and women are not the same thing. They have very, very different lives. Man, I feel really bad for this woman. I mean, she seems like a nice lady. She seems like a nice, attractive young woman. Well, I guess she's over 30, so I don't know if young is it anymore. I was making the joke because my birthday was a few weeks ago. I'm halfway there. I'm 37. I'm on the back end of 30. Oh boy. And I was joking. I was at the poker table and I was like, I'm halfway there. And then all of the old people who were there were like, what? No, you're not. Don't say that. And I'm like, well, isn't the life expectancy for a U.S. male like 72? And then I think I offended some old dude because he immediately pulled out his phone and checked and it's 79.3 or something. I was like, all right, I'm not exactly halfway there, but I'm getting close. The hill is approaching. But I'm a guy. I'm a dude. Not only that, but they were like, I thought you were 24. I'm like, well, I don't smoke. I don't drink. I exercise and I eat well. So maybe that's why. It's really funny too, just as an aside. Why is it that when you go watch movies from the 90s, people in their 30s look 50? And I'm wondering if it was like they drank a lot, they smoked a lot, and there was lead in the gasoline. Could that have just aged people and made them look just old? I don't know, man. I don't know. Just as a funny aside. But this is what we're getting. I'm sure that I will get a bunch of leftists who will take this video and they'll mock and they'll insult and they'll say it's sexist or whatever. And it's like, yo, I'm here supporting ladies, man. I'm here reading a ladies magazine showing women talking about how they feel. And I'm saying, I feel bad for them. I wish them the best. They are correct. Now, how is that misogyny or sexism? That's one of the biggest lies when it comes to modern feminism and when it comes to this leftist cult garbage. They say that men who try telling women to find family are misogynist and sexist, when in fact, it's actually the men trying to help the women. I'm not saying women should not have jobs. I'm not saying women shouldn't strive to be CEOs. I'm not saying every single one on the planet should be the head of a fortune, should be making sandwiches in the kitchen or anything like that. I'm saying outright, men and women have different biological expectations, standards, and timelines. And that you should probably listen to your older sisters in life when they say things like this. Because maybe you don't agree. Maybe you're like, I don't feel the same way you do. You know, maybe there's a lady who's like, I just don't want to have kids. It's not going to happen. Hey, man, more power to you. Like, congratulations. You know, I hope you start that company and you become a lady boss that takes over the industry. And I want you to succeed. I want all these women to succeed. But when I see these women on TikTok crying every single day, there's always another video. And I'm like, dude, everyone has always known this. It's the feminists that are lying to these women about modern dating culture that are causing pain and suffering for them. You got to be honest. You can say, hey, look, if you want to go and hook up and do TikTok and all that jazz, man, you do it. Just watch those videos from these ladies and see how they're feeling. You know what'll happen? I think what happens is a lot of young women see videos like this and they'll be like, that won't be me. I'll never be like that. And then sure enough, come 33, they're like, I can't believe how right these older ladies were. But hey, man, look, I'm not a lady, so don't look at me. All I can do is comment on what these ladies are saying. And I hope this lady, it's been a year. I hope she found somebody. She got a relationship. She's happy and living a good life. On the beach, hope she had a kid or something. And same thing for that lady on the treadmill, man. Good luck. Seriously mean it. Good luck. Find somebody. And I wish you all the best. And I'm glad, I want to say to these ladies, thank you for putting these videos out there and telling people. Make sure the younger ladies know so they don't fall into that same pit trap. I made a video about this like a year ago, and I think it was like, I'm not going to name anybody. Some leftist groups are like, Tim Pool says women belong in the kitchen and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, every single time a new story comes out like this, and they still just want to play that narrative lie. Fine. I'll leave it there. All right. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.